as we release those emotions, as we release the physical parasites and everything, it's like you just naturally become who you are. You release of everything that's not you, and all you're left with is like who you came here to be, what your soul already chose before you came here. And
hi, everybody. Welcome. I am Errin Andrus with the Sanctuary Holistic Wellness. Here we are podcasting with Miss Avery Hutcheson. Avery is an incredible being. She's done the cleanse twice, but really what she's been working through the past, did you say 11 months, year?
Yeah, 3 years or so has been when I started on the parasite cleansing journey.
Yes, and detoxing specifically from limes, mold, autoimmunity, heavy metals, and I wanted to have you share your story. So thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, good. So tell us a little bit about, first of all, about yourself.
Yeah.
And how you ended up absorbing mold and having to detox from it, and what it took and what you went through.
Totally. So I'm Avery. I live in San Diego, California. And yeah, detox and healing has really been a really big part of my life for the past few years. I have always been very sensitive. Just before we started rolling, we were talking about the fact that like when I was born, I had an allergic reaction to the latex gloves. So I was already very like hypersensitive, like all of my life.
You had just talked about how in utero, when your mom's pregnant with you, she had a heavy metal poisoning that transferred to you.
Exactly. So she didn't know yet. She started having some symptoms of chronic fatigue, but didn't really know what was going on. And then when she was pregnant with my brother and then pregnant with me, she felt great. And then it was really after that her health started to really take a turn, and she had really bad chronic fatigue and things that nobody knew what they were.
Yeah. And you were talking about how she got heavy metals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So she lived in Japan for a few years, and she was eating tuna every day.
Okay.
And she got, I think, 6 fillings.
Mercury fillings.
Mercury fillings. And I don't know if there was a problem with them. I don't remember exactly what happened, but those mercury fillings, they got into her system.
Okay.
So, I mean, she has seen so many doctors, so many naturopaths, she's done so many things to try and support her health. And
what were her symptoms when she...
Chronic fatigue was probably the first thing that happened. And then she had a lot of brain fog, just really started not feeling like herself, didn't have energy to do very much, started getting tons of food allergies.
Okay.
I remember that growing up, is that she would always only be able to eat like a handful of foods. She'd be eating like bison and like asparagus. And then, when you have leaky gut, whatever you're eating, oftentimes you just become sensitive to that. And then it just keeps getting narrower, the foods that you're able to eat.
Okay.
So that was, a lot of my childhood. And as I grew up, like it's probably I'm 25 now. It's probably past 10, 12 years that she like got sicker and like,
how is she now?
She's incredible.
Oh, good.
She's the healthiest that she's ever been right now. She's thriving.
How did she discover that?
How did she discover?
Like what methods did she do to heal her heavy metal toxicity?
Yeah. So she's done a lot of chelation for her heavy metals. She's done a lot of parasite cleansing as well.
Did you guys do it together, the parasite cleansing, or was she doing that before you even?
I even did some parasite cleansing back when I was in high school.
Okay.
I didn't really know what I was doing at that point. It was kind of like my mom being like, hey, you should do this, take this protocol. She's
been down the naturopath for a while trying to figure stuff out.
Yes. Okay. I was raised, on most of the like natural stuff. And
good. Lucky.
Yeah. So I'm really lucky in that way. But more recently, she was here in St. George seeing Dr. Vosloo. That started about a year ago or so. And that process really helped speed her healing along, really getting the toxins out of the cells. And
so she did Dr. Vosloo's program first, and then you did? Or
yes. So she did it first. Okay. She did it first. She did it, and then she was so amazed by it. She was like, Avery, you need to do it. Avery, you need to do it. And at that timing, I was actually doing pretty well. And I was like, I don't know if I need that right now. And
had you had the mold yet?
I didn't have the mold yet.
Okay.
It was pretty like, she said that. And then I got exposed to the mold. And then it was like, I need to go.
Tell us how you got exposed to mold.
Yeah. So This past November, I was in Honduras with my dad and my brother. We were there scuba diving over Thanksgiving. And the hotel that we were staying in, unfortunately had some mold. What's really interesting about it is that since I've been sensitive to different chemicals and things like that over the years and have had brain fog symptoms and different things like that, typically if I go into a space that has mold, I can tell immediately. And my head just feels a little fuzzy. I don't feel as clear as I typically do.
Feel it, smell it a bit.
Yep, smell it a bit. But there I actually felt fine.
Okay.
That being said, I was processing a lot emotionally at the time, and I think that there was probably layers of numbness that I was experiencing within myself.
And numbness is stagnation, and that's when there's stagnation and nothing's moving and nothing's drying out. So, okay.
Yep.
Okay. What in your life were you going through? Do you want to share at all any of it?
Yeah. I mean, so to back up a bit, 3 years ago or so, 2.5 is when I started like really taking the parasite cleansing seriously. Okay. I spent a month in Costa Rica, and I was in Nosara.
I love Nosara.
So beautiful. Yeah, and Santa Teresa.
Okay,
so,
beautiful.
I did a few weeks in both. Yes. And had a wonderful time, but I was drinking the tap water while I was there because I didn't know better.
Don't drink the tap water.
Yes, I will never do that again. I actually, that's not true. I did know better, and I asked a few people. And everybody was drinking the tap water. And so I was like, you know what? I feel well. Yeah. Maybe I'll be okay. Yeah. Now I wouldn't make that choice again.
When I go there, I just buy fresh OJ. I drink OJ like the whole time, or fresh juice.
That's beautiful.
Because I'm like, I don't know if the water's so raw. I'm such a water snob.
Yeah. I'll do that next time for sure. But I was in a place in my life where I was really questioning a lot, really trying to figure out my purpose, kind of putting a lot of pressure on myself to like get my business off the ground and different things where...
What's your business?
So at the time I was doing manifestation programs.
Oh, cool.
So I got really into manifestation and was just having all these crazy synchronicities and things happen in my life.
Were you teaching people as well? So you're growing the business in that? Yeah, very good.
That's what I was doing then.
Good.
But it was really interesting because as I started doing that, I was like, I kind of stepped outside of myself and was like, I need to look at externally at what other people are doing to figure out how to do this. And I left behind the truth of what I know and like my magic and my truth that I'm supposed to bring here and like, you know, really do my work in my own way. And, you know, was kind of looking outside of myself and getting stressed. And I have a lot of friends that are entrepreneurs that are older than me and have been in their business longer than I have. And I felt pressured to get there faster. So I really started pressurizing myself, and like in that season I was just working a lot and was under a lot of stress. So I think that allowed...
All about work?
Yeah.
Any relationship stuff with the mold? Or just work?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
So that was when I picked up a ton of Parasites, I believe, June 2022.
Okay.
And then like the following months, I started feeling really sick. I gained a lot of weight really quickly, like 20 pounds in a couple months. Okay. My hair started falling out.
Wow.
I got really sick.
Wow.
I felt really foggy, really unclear, really disconnected from myself. And I was like, it was really kind of crazy because I went from like a month or two prior than that, I was like on top of the world. And then things just came crashing down.
Isn't it wild how high you can feel, how low you can get? Yeah. Okay.
It was crazy.
And such a physical low, like your whole body just, okay.
Totally. And I didn't know what it was at the time. I was like, oh, why is I was like, I don't have time for this. I need to like push forward in my work. I need to, start making impact.
Wow.
And
you're just so hard on yourself.
I was really hard on myself for sure. I was so hard on myself.
Where do you feel in your body as you talk about the past of this?
Solar plexus and throat a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been so healing, really pulling this all together and talking about the journey of everything that's happened.
Yeah.
Feels like a really critical element of my healing is the expression of everything and being so patient with all of it kind of coming together and making sense as well. Because a lot of the time when we're in the thick of something,
it doesn't make sense.
I've been in the thick of it a lot in the past few years. It's like, I'm trusting. I am trusting, and it's hard to trust.
Good work. Especially when the body feels so uncomfortable. You're like, am I supposed to trust? It doesn't feel aligned yet, but you know you're aligning. So continue to trust. Okay, good work.
So I was in Cyprus, the country near Turkey, at a Lyme clinic for my mom.
Okay.
I was just going to go work from there and support her. And it was like, oh, while I'm here, I might as well get some treatments for things.
Yes.
I didn't know that I had Lyme at the time. They didn't test me for Lyme. With the testing that they did, they were able to tell that I had a lot of parasites, big parasite overgrowth going on.
Okay. What was the testing how did they test you?
Muscle testing.
Okay. Perfect.
Yep. So started on some parasite cleansing, was doing my first ever colonics there. That was so helpful.
Was it a gravity fed system or a pressurized system?
It was a closed system. So with a person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pressurized.
So there was about 2 months where I was taking herbs, and different things and wasn't really having much happen. And then it was like the dam broke.
Boom. I love that when that happens.
And I saw my first parasite, and I saw one probably every day for the next 6 months.
Very good. Have you got any big long ones out?
Oh, yeah.
Big long ones.
Oh, yeah.
Good work.
Probably got 100 plus pictures in my photo album
of
all the mucoid plaque, tons of mucoid plaque at first. And then you get to all the...
How many days did you do that program?
So maybe 6 months.
Wow.
It was a long time. I would take like a week break here and there with it.
How often would you do the colonics?
I was doing them once a week.
Cool. Okay. For 6 months. Okay.
Yeah. I probably needed them more with how much I was getting out of my system and didn't know as much about enemas at that point in time.
Was it giving you any herks?
So herks.
Okay.
Yeah, so much herks.
Okay. So you were just so uncomfortable healing.
I spent a greater part of 2023 sick in bed while detoxing from the parasites because I was recirculating so many toxins and my liver was so congested. And
good work. Just getting through those moments.
It was deep.
Yeah.
And what was really interesting was, prior to all of that, I had, like I was talking about the manifestation, I'd gotten really deep into the spiritual work. And then when I got sick, it was like kind of hard for me to mesh the two together. When I felt so sick, it was really hard to sit with myself. It was really hard to be with the emotions. That's
when spirit really wants to come in, but we feel so upset. We don't even know how to connect.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, good work.
And so in the moment where I did enough cleansing and like kind of was in a good headspace where I was able to like go there and feel the emotions.
Yes.
And I had one really powerful emotional like healing breakthrough release.
Sob it out.
Just sobbed so much.
So healing.
The next day I was like, I felt better than I had in
rebirth.
Oh my God, I literally couldn't believe it. Like,
isn't that as good what crying can do for you? A good, nice sob about the pains in our body that we're feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. And I felt in that moment like I released a lot of the emotional patterns that were making me sick. And my body was, after that moment, I was in an upward trajectory and I really started healing as opposed to just recirculating toxins and feeling like I wasn't getting better. I started getting better really fast.
And have you been connecting to the body and crying out when you need to ever since?
Yes.
Good.
So then it was probably about 6 months later.
Okay.
When I found Sanctuary, your cleanse.
Yes.
And just like, it felt like such a manifestation of mine to find you guys because you're really bridging the physical detox with the emotional work.
Yeah.
And that was what I needed.
Yes.
I needed that.
Yes.
I needed somebody to tell me. I knew they were connected.
Yeah.
But I
didn't know how.
I didn't know how. And I just didn't have anybody bridging that together for me. So once I found you guys, I was so lit up and inspired and just ready to go all in with that. And was able to be so present with myself while I was doing your cleanses. And I felt incredible during them as opposed to the 6 months where I felt so sick.
That's a lot to go through for 6 months. Good. Okay. What was your hardest day on the cleanse? And how's your liver flushes? Like, how do they go?
Liver flushes were good.
Does it feel so good after?
Yes.
You're like a new being.
Yeah. I had done a handful like before Sanctuary doing the liver flushes, but doing them like in conjunction with the Parasite cleansing is just so necessary.
Yes. And the liver, as I holds on to a lot of mold with the brain, right? And I feel depending on the stones, there can be black stones.
Yeah.
And so good job, liver flushing, getting it all out.
I think day like 3 or 4 was probably my hardest the first time that I did it.
Okay.
Headaches. Yeah.
Day 4 is usually everyone's hardest. Usually, That's when your body's really trying to switch over.
Yeah. Okay. But by like 7, 8, 9, 10, I was so good.
What's your zodiac?
I'm Gemini.
Okay. So medical astrology, Gemini is the hands, the arms, the lungs, the shoulders. And beautiful.
Yeah.
So and lungs is day 8.
Lungs was really powerful. Lungs was really, really powerful. And then the right hip was really, really powerful. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Like making that moving forward because I mean, when you get in those cycles of illness, you feel stuck and you feel like so much time goes by and you're still doing the same thing and you're still working on healing your body, and such deep, important work that we're doing, and not a waste of time by any means at all. But there definitely was that desire to really start making bigger steps forward in my life and experiencing change and bringing all that energy of synchronicity and, you know, just the power to create our lives in any way, and bringing that back in was really, really powerful. With day 10.
Good.
That's that meditation I returned to a lot.
Oh, good. That makes me happy. I know it's so important to be able to connect to the momentum inside yourself to say, okay, I can feel good now. I don't have to identify with my disease anymore, with my sickness anymore. And feeling that way to know it, and then it's a click.
Totally. So it was actually, so I did your cleanse for 10 days. I was off of it for a few days, and then my body was like, I want to go back in. I wanted to go back in immediately. I was gonna wait and do it the following month, and then I was like, I don't want to wait. I want to just go back into it. And
your body knew.
Yes, and I'm so glad I did, because there was more that was ready to make its way out. And
what did you get the most out of during our detox? Would you say ropes or white worms?
Definitely mostly rope worms for sure. Yeah, definitely got a lot of white worms out as well.
Good, good,
and the stones. On one of the days, because I think each time I did the liver flush twice, because I like to do a little extra.
Yes.
And one of the times I felt really, really dropped in with my liver.
Good.
I felt like really, I was doing your meditation. I felt really connected with my liver. And then I got so many stones out the next day from that. Like it was like I like tapped into the operating system.
Oh,
and was
I
like
love
in my liver, in the conscious system of my liver.
Good.
And
telling it how it is,
safe to let go.
Yeah. Did you sob during those moments? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I cried so much. I cried,
so deep.
My friends at the time would be like, "Oh, like what have you been up to?" I've been crying a lot. Like I've just been crying, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like
life.
I get that."
I was sobbing yesterday. It's just like, okay, life and the emotions we live, and then the body feels it. And you're like, okay, let's connect this and let's get it out so we can keep going.
Totally.
Okay, very good. Are you working with clients right now?
I'm not working with clients right now.
Okay.
So after I did your 2 cleanses and then was feeling really incredible. And then it was around the time this past November, when I was going through a lot of emotions. I was like, it was a big emotional processing year for me. I was going really, really deep into my lower chakras, into my lower energy centers, and clearing out the density that was there.
Yeah.
And with that came so much clearing of pain and sadness and grief and anger and, attachments from childhood, and just like really, really deep healing.
What attachments from childhood were the worst to have to process?
Most I think what was interesting with like having my mom be sick as I was growing up.
Just having to watch that. And did you help her a lot? I'm sure.
And not so much.
Okay.
I don't remember helping her as much, but I think what sticks out to me is like it almost being normal to be sick.
Oh, part of the cycle.
It was like, oh shit, I'm getting sick. Like I grew up with my mom being sick. Like, am I going to be sick for the rest of my life? Like really clearing that.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a really, really big one.
Lots of fear to let go of there. And like, no, I don't have to live that. I don't have to play that out.
Yeah. And another one that was really powerful was around the time that after I graduated college, I moved to San Diego. I had a great job that I loved. I was I was manifesting all these crazy things. I was like, just, oh my gosh, life was magical. Yeah. It was so good. Incredible. I was in bliss all day, every day. I mean, there were things, but it was like a totally new experience for me. And I felt incredible. And at the same time, my parents were going through a divorce. So they were both, dealing with challenges with that, especially my mom.
How old were you?
Let's see, 22. So it's just a few years ago.
Okay. All right. How long were they married?
All my life.
Divorce is so hard. Are they still friends?
They are beginning to become friends now.
Good.
Yeah, I think this Thanksgiving, we're all going to do Thanksgiving together. So yeah, they have gone through their things and done their healing from that. And I think we're going to be able to spend more time together as a family soon going forward.
Was that hard for you and your brother at the time?
No.
To process? Okay.
Not hard for me. Being like very intuitive, like growing up and, all my life, especially as my mom kind of started on the spiritual path as well. Yeah. So she like kind of brought me into that.
I love that.
And my dad wasn't going along that path. He loves his friends and he does his thing. And that doesn't interest him quite as much, though he is dipping his toes in these days, which is really, really incredible.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So good. Okay, good. But anyways, I had seen that they were kind of going on different paths for a while. So I was really happy for them when they decided to make that choice to go their own way. It just made sense. Yeah, it did make sense. And good. My mom could go live out. She's in Boulder now, and she has an incredible community there. And
she's traveled here though with you this.
Yes, she was here with me in St. George.
Very good. Yes. I love that. And you spend some time here, like often. Yeah, so I love that
you're. It's my third time here. Yeah, I love St. George.
Me too. Yeah,
yeah, it's incredible.
Okay.
So let's see, the mold.
Yes.
I can't remember if I got into all of that, but yeah, I was in a really emotional space where I was processing a lot of emotions. And that's when I went to Honduras this past November, got exposed to a bunch of mold, and started feeling really sick afterwards. Wow. Started feeling really sick. And that's when I came here to do, the cellular detox, do some treatment
with Dr.
Vosloo. Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So, in December, I was feeling not good. I had brain fog. I was really tired, and my emotions really didn't feel like my own, which was really interesting. Yeah. I was like, there's something that I'm processing. There's something that keeps coming up in my system that's very dark.
What was it? Do you know?
It was just dark energy, just depression, not from anything specific really, but it was just, it felt very dense. And it almost just felt like it had this consciousness that was dark and didn't feel like my own. And I think with all the work that I've done to be able to kind of tell what's mine and what's not mine, it was like, this is weird. There's something off here. Yeah. Like, I don't really feel like I'm going through anything. Well, that's not true. I was probably going through some things as well, but it felt like a foreign energy.
Yeah,
it felt like a foreign energy in my system for sure. So when I came to Dr. Vosloo and was doing IV therapy with him, that was amazing. And I saw Ryan, who does live blood cell analysis in St. George.
Ryan Breakerhoff with hyperbarics, St. George hyperbarics?
I think so.
Yeah.
Or Inside Out hyperbarics.
Inside Out hyperbarics. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah.
So he took 1 drop of my blood from my finger and put it under a microscope and looked at everything that was in the blood just from 1 drop. And you could see tons and tons of fungus. So it was likely mold. I think it was most definitely mold.
Yeah.
And then spirochetes, the Lyme bacteria.
Okay.
So the spirochetes, they're like kind of like corkscrews, and they will like corkscrew into red blood cells. So you could actually see the spirochetes corkscrewing into the red blood cells.
Wow.
On right there,
right there
under
the microscope,
which is crazy.
Wow.
And another really interesting thing was after about 5 minutes or so of looking at the my blood, a lot of the red blood cells began to die really quickly, which is not normal.
Yeah.
That they were all dying so quickly. So
Wow.
that was the mold that was killing all the red blood cells.
Wow.
So that was in January.
No wonder you felt the dark energy. Yeah, there it was.
I was being attacked by the mold. And it was really intense.
Wow.
So, oh my gosh, I have so much compassion for people that are going through that without the awareness of like, this isn't me.
Right.
This isn't just my own consciousness. This isn't just my own thoughts, my own mind that's saying this. They're not able to differentiate between like, that's not the truth of my soul, my being.
And then
like,
the anxiety you feel just because of it.
Yeah.
You're like, this is not me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So many people have mold in their systems. So
I have so much empathy for them and everyone who's trying to heal and doesn't feel good and doesn't know how and trying to figure themselves out, Totally. Yeah. Okay.
So, oh my gosh. So between January and now it's April, I've done so much deep work. I was really like committed to getting all of that out of my system and really committed to staying really present with the emotional aspects. And so I was taking your tincture.
Good.
I've been taking it almost every day. I'm taking a week off here and there. So if the parasites don't get used to it.
Yes, good.
That has helped me immensely because there was parasites as well in the drop of blood.
Okay. Good job at getting it all cleaned out, knowing what you need to do, being here, creating the schedules and appointments, say this is what we have to do. Yeah. And a lot of people, they're not sure what to do. So they just are like, okay, I'll just, take this or take that, but continue on the same lifestyle in the same environment and nothing will change.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're tackling it head on and you're like, this will change. This will fix it.
Absolutely. And it did. Yeah. I mean, it was Ryan, who takes live blood cell analysis from people all the time, was like, this is remarkable. Good. This is amazing. I can't believe how different your blood looks.
Good.
3 months later. 3 months later. There was barely any mold left, like just a little bit, but barely any.
Okay.
We were looking at my slide 45 minutes after he took the sample. All my red blood cells are happy. Okay. Happy red blood cells. They were dying after 5 minutes 3 months ago. So, and that's that's in one drop of blood. That's happening in my whole body and all of my blood. I mean, oh my goodness. Yeah. They saw one little Lyme bacteria, but there were way, way more before. So I'm really getting it all out.
You really are. Good work.
Feeling really good.
Good. Okay. What is the next step for you in your process of becoming Avery more,
Yeah. I think through this process, I think what's interesting is that in the beginning of a health journey, it can feel like a disruption to your life. Yeah. It can feel like this wasn't a part of the plan. I was going this way and now I have this health thing that's going on. Yeah. And, I think that's such a reason why people do get sick. It becomes a part of their purpose, the healing process that they go through.
So many people can benefit from what how to heal from. I mean, I was just working with a client the other day who had mold and so I mean, there's so much information you have because of what you've been through to combat Lyme's, mold, fungal infection, and to be able to give that to others. So,
and the emotional aspect. I mean, I think it's everything. Yeah. The products and the physical detox are so important too, but if you're missing that emotional component and that presence, and you're not going deep into those patterns that need to be felt and experienced, then you're just going to keep looping back around, which so many people do, and it's easy to do, and it's
then you have to do the cycle again.
It's hard. It's challenging when you're sick, and I've experienced that in the past 3 years. It was like, I would get better and then I would, and then I would drop again. Something would happen. Like I got exposed to the mold and that totally tanked my system because I wasn't feeling all the things I needed to be feeling all the way through. I was doing my best.
Do you know the foods that that you don't crave anymore that you were eating then?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. I'm so excited to talk to you about this too.
Okay. Tell me about your diet, your foods that you've let go of, things like
impactful.
That. Right.
Yeah. Well, back when, all of my life, I wasn't really allowed to have much like sugar, processed foods because my mom knew.
Yeah.
But then I would go to a friend's house and I would just
indulge, like binge almost because you never had it.
Binge,
so it was binge
crazily.
Okay.
I would, oh my gosh, I think it was for 5th grade, we would do like a cupcake day once a week at school.
Yeah.
And then I knew that they would keep the extra cupcakes like by the lost and found. And so my friend and we would sneak into the lost and found, pretend that we lost something and take a box of cupcakes.
Oh, I love it.
And go home and eat them all.
Oh, I love it. So just a sugar binger.
Yes. Okay. And it was always that way. So I had to really be careful to not eat sugar, because if I did eat some, then it would just cascade into just these insane cravings where the parasites were driving me to the grocery store and like I'm like, oh my god,
like, let's reproduce more, eat more sugar.
Yes. So definitely had through like a little bit in high school into college and a little bit after that had some binging sugar going on for sure.
Did you have any of these binge cravings during the detox that came around?
Some.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Good work.
Definitely
observing and letting go, or giving
like,
in.
What is this?
Go. Yeah.
What is this? Isn't mine.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
It's hard, and it's a step-by-step thing.
Yep.
Because you're not going to be perfect.
Right.
But I think it's can be a journey that takes some time, and you get better, and it becomes easier. And now it's easy to make the choices to like eat food that are going to make me feel good.
Yes.
I don't care to eat food that's going to make me feel bad. I have no interest.
Right, because you know how long it takes to feel good again.
Yeah, and I love feeling clear. I love feeling energized.
Yes.
I don't want the density of that crap like blocking my
keeping you numb and not seeing things or hearing things you need to, like just keeping you in a daze. Clarity
keeps you numb, keeps you disconnected from spirit.
Right.
It's
the foods we feed ourselves have a real impact on how we feel internally. And so I'm so glad you were able to let go of the bingy sugar cupcakes and all of that, because that is such a cycle. I've been feeding for years.
Yeah, and the emotional aspect as well of like, what does my body actually need right now? What am I actually needing right now? I need to cry.
Yeah.
I need to like.
What emotions did you go through the most? Grief, sadness, joy? Did you experience all of them?
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them. Yeah. Lots of tears. Lots of tears. Most recently, I think this last full moon, I was experiencing a lot of anger.
Okay.
A ton of anger coming
up. Through that season before.
My liver was talking to me, and she was pissed. Yeah. She was really frustrated with a lot of things.
She wanted to rage.
She wanted to rage. She was raging. And so I allowed that.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting, I think, is that like under that anger, there's the griefs and sadness too. As well.
Always the anger was masked by just the grief and the sadness. I know. Yeah. Okay.
So for a lot of my detox process, like in the beginning, before I found you guys, I was eating mostly meat. I was doing mostly animal based.
Like, were you eating out meat, or was it like you're
really
making sure it was
highest quality of everything?
Yeah.
I knew that much that
Were you cooking it or eating it raw?
Cooking it.
Okay.
And in 2023, where I was sick for 6-7 months, I was mostly eating meat. And I think that kept me feeling very heavy, very dense. And I wasn't getting those like light into my body from the fruit and the enzymes.
Yes.
And it's really interesting is that a couple months before I found your cleanse, I started getting really nauseous every time I would cook meat, and I'd be sitting there ready to eat it like normal, and then my body was like, no. I was like throwing it up. I was like, my body was totally rejecting it. It was really wild and hard for me. I'm like, no, what am I supposed to eat?
Yeah, when we don't know what to eat.
Yeah, it was oh my goodness, yes, it was really upsetting. And then your cleanse came around, and I saw that it was all fruit, and I was like, wow, that's not normal for me.
Yeah. Because you're only on meat, like just meat and maybe veggies, or just meat? Some
veggies maybe, but mostly meat.
Okay.
And
no
eggs.
Fruit, eggs,
and avocado.
And eggs, avocado.
Yeah, so avocado.
Anything else?
Not a lot.
So no greens, no fruit.
not very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Were you eating breads?
No.
Okay. Okay. Just very
maybe every once in a while, some of those things, but
and that
for
worked
the most
for
part,
a minute, and then it
felt better for a minute,
down.
and then I felt like I was being kept in this density. I felt dense. I felt heavy.
Yeah.
Just in my energy system.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
I found it really interesting when I found your cleanse with all fruit, and I was like, wow, I am being guided. I am being led to try this, to like really go all in with this. And
break down all those old proteins with the enzymes and allow your body to heal so deep.
Yeah.
And how did you feel switching the diet and going to all fruit from that very strict meat diet to the fruit?
Yeah. I think like the headaches on like day 3 were probably like from releasing the meat.
Yes.
And making that transition. But by the end, I felt so good. I felt so light, so clear, just incredible.
And anyone who doesn't know, headaches are specifically common when you parasite detox because when the parasites are dying because you're not feeding them, they specifically will poop and pee in the lymphatic system and the brain. So to get you to eat, you think you need to eat. So they have signals for the body. Let's get our host to eat because we're dying off. So anyone that is suffering from headaches, just know you're doing good. Hang in there. The parasites are dying off.
Yeah. What's really interesting, so there was one parasite in my live blood cell analysis from last week. And we think it was a tapeworm, a baby teeny, it was in one drop of blood, teeny tiny tapeworm. Wow. And it had died. It was already dead when it came out of my blood. Okay. And it was like broken open at the end. So I think parasites, when they die, they explode a little bit.
They have released their claws.
And underneath the parasite, there's like a pool of liquid. That came out. You could see it. Yeah, I'll send it to you guys.
Secretion liquid. Yeah.
Of what came out of the parasite. So that's the stuff that's making you feel really bad when you're cleansing.
Isn't it wild?
It's wild. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really.
Yeah. In my theory, we all have them. There's not one person that doesn't, and so to be on top of it and clean them out so you can keep going is essential to regenerate your body that's housing the consciousness, that's going to keep you and feeling good here. Yeah. So good work.
Totally. Thank you. And I think another really interesting part of my process and experience has been like really coming back into like my own intuition and the truth of what my body needs and like releasing fears about, things that other people are telling me to do. Because I've been told that I need to be on carnivore. I've been told that I need to be animal based. I've been told, you're told a lot of different things when you're sick and you're, I have a lot of wonderful people helping me get through this. And that's been so critical to my healing to have support. But people have opinions based on what's worked for themselves or what's worked for other people. And that's not going to be the same for every person. And so it's like, I think that that's one of the most critical aspects of going through your healing process is figuring out like how God, how spirit's wanting you to heal.
Yes. For yourself. Yes. Tapping into what your body needs because every body is different and the environments we live in are different. And so what's working for one carnivore won't work for another or this or that.
And if you're doing something that feels out of alignment with your system, like you're just going like it's not going to work. If you're like already believing you're not sure if it's going to work, like you really need to be in a space where you're confident with the things that you're taking to support yourself, what you're eating to support yourself.
Trusting yourself.
The emotions they're processing. Yeah. Just really trusting yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So good. Are you going to be working with clients, helping them heal?
Yes.
One-on-one?
Yes.
Okay. I love that so much.
That's what I'm really, really excited to step into is really helping people that are healing and cleansing and detoxing really like work through those emotional patterns, work through those deep emotional patterns that have kept them sick because the pattern is there in the field until we clear it, until we feel the emotions that created it in the first place, until we go really deep and let those things go. And sometimes we don't know what they are. Sometimes we just need to, a lot of the time we don't know what they are. Sometimes we do, and it really doesn't matter.
Mine. And I've been carrying it for, and then my mother carried it and her mother. Oh, we can all let it go now. Okay.
Yeah.
For me, I know my very first, a lot of guilt and shame, I released a lot of guilt and shame for a few cleanses. Like that was the first kind of like, emotion that really had to go into. Why do I always feel guilty about being me? Why do I feel guilty about just living? What is this feeling of I'm always doing something wrong?
Yeah. Aww.
And that was so existential to get out of my body, my mind, my spirit, my soul. And then after that, then you go into the anger, and then you go into the grief and sadness. And then you realize, okay, there's complete joy here, because then it turns all into gratitude.
Totally.
And so I love where you're at.
I think that, like off of that, like, I think there's a big part of me that didn't feel safe in my body for a lot of my life. I think with having my birth be traumatic, and I went into a shock response. Wow. I was, my body my soul didn't really feel safe to come all the way into my system because of that. And so I think because of that, like, there's a really big part of me that's always really wanted to like feel like myself and like be myself and to like the fullest extent and like express that. But it's been challenging. It's like, but who am I? And like figuring that out. And so grounding has been super important. And then just like, as we release those emotions, as we release the physical parasites and everything, it's like you just naturally become who you are. You just like, you release of everything that's not you, and all you're left with is like who you came here to be, what your soul already chose before you came here. And
it feels so good to feel yourself at that level, to be able to really be so in tune with a body.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you don't have to overthink. You don't have to figure things out. You don't have to go outside yourself, because you're like just divinely programmed for
yourself, to just keep aligning. Yeah. Okay. Very good.
So really helping people in that process, and like come out of detox and into like that like right leg that you talk about, right hip, taking that step forward, creation, getting into a creative state, really taking steps forward in their life. And bringing the manifestation into that as well.
Good. Very good. What modalities are you using to keep feeling good as you continue on your journey?
Yeah. So meditation has been a big one for me. It always has been. I started doing Joe Dispenza's meditation work.
I love Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe.
Yes. Like 4.5 years ago now. And I just brought my dad actually to a beginner progressive retreat for a couple days. It was amazing.
Your dad is dipping his toes
He's
in the
dipping
work.
his toes
I
in.
love that.
My aunt was there. My cousin was there. So it was like the perfect scenario for my dad to come and have that experience. And, he really came to like, understand me better. Oh, which, it's
love
just,
that.
Yeah. Through this healing has brought my dad and I a lot closer.
Oh, good.
I've really been able to express like what I need. Like, I need you to listen to me. I need to feel safe to express myself, because my dad hasn't expressed a lot of emotions while I've been growing up. Yeah. And so it's been hard for me to express my emotions to him and feel safe to tell him how I'm feeling.
Without him feeling emotional about it and not knowing what to do, and maybe getting a little upset because his girl doesn't, he's like, oh.
Or feeling, or like him feeling like he can't relate, or me feeling like he can't relate because he's, just not emotional in the same way that I am.
And at some point letting like the parent role go and just be, a friend, and tell me about your experience, what you're going through instead of
Okay, like, what's it like inside? Good. What are you feeling?
Like with your dad.
Yeah. So meditation has been super helpful. Good. And just like sitting with myself and the emotions. If I feel a ping, I feel like a tightness in my solar plexus or my throat, it's like, okay, it's time to like drop in and sit with this and like see what wants to come through. And that often I'm making noise. I'm getting it out of my system. Something really interesting is when I process energy, I burp so much. Yeah. It is so funny.
That's a normal thing.
It's hilarious. I could burp like all day long sometimes. Yeah.
And when you work on people or just with yourself?
With other people as well. Sometimes somebody will say something like they're sharing something vulnerable and I'm like,
exactly. Remember in the healing space, everyone knows all my clients. I just burp and burp. They're talking me, telling me about their story. I'm like, tell me more.
Helping them clear it.
Good job.
Clearing it out of your own system as well.
Yeah, good job.
Just sitting with things emotionally processing.
What's your moon sign? Do you know?
Libra.
Okay, what's your sun?
Leo.
Okay, lots of beautiful, powerful.
Yes. And then I've got Venus in Cancer. Oh, so I love my Venus in Cancer.
So soft and loving and family nurturing. Okay.
Yeah.
So
got my tender heart.
So are you working with clients currently yet?
No, but I'm going to start very soon. Yeah. I just finished up 2 more weeks of finishing up some detox. And I'm
with Dr. Vosloo?
With Dr. Vosloo.
Good. Okay.
some IV ozone and some IVs just to really support my system and getting all the buggies out and the Lyme out and the mold out. So yeah, really just coming at it from all angles, but I'm feeling really good, really healthy, and really excited to like get out there and help people. Like,
oh, I love that.
Yeah. I feel so ready. I feel like I've like just my journey has really prepared me to be able to like really help people and deeply serve them. And
beautiful. Is that, so if somebody wants to get a hold of you to work with you, how would they do that?
Instagram.
Okay. What's your Instagram?
It is Avery Hutcheson, AveryHutcheson. Just send me a message and we can chat more about it.
I love that. Yeah, your Instagram is great. It's full of knowledge.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's nice to be able to, see your posts and
and something that I haven't mentioned yet is that like me posting those videos of your cleanse while I was doing them was so healing for me.
Oh, good.
So healing for me to share and express in that way.
And what was going on and what was happening.
Yeah.
I loved your videos.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I loved making them. It was so fun too.
You got a huge response too from your videos.
It was really incredible experiencing that and being received by everybody that was watching the videos it was such an incredible feeling.
And I know me and Ash would watch them like, there's our girl Avery.
Oh, yeah. I love you guys.
Cheerleaders from, the Instagram.
Oh my gosh. So sweet. So yeah. I mean, it's changed my life completely. And yeah, I'm so grateful for you guys. I think you're so incredible. I tell everybody in the world about you guys.
Thank you. Oh, that makes me so happy.
Yeah. It's revolutionary.
I love it. And then it just so happened to work that you were like, hey, I'm coming to St. George. And like, please come meet us and be here. Oh, so good. Yeah. And then you've been, even in St. George, you've been going to yoga. You've been staying on top of all of your therapies that you need to be doing while you're detoxing. So that, it's so important and vital that while you're detoxing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Feel good.
So
Set up yourself with massage, sun, yoga, energy work.
Totally.
So you're doing it all to feel so good. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. It feels very full circle.
Good. Good.
Because like I was saying, it felt like a disruption when it was like, oh, I'm getting sick. I have to go into all this now and put all my business stuff on pause. But I was being led in a different direction, in a deeper direction. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that I'm leaving any of that behind, just bringing it all together and bringing it with me, because I've deepened so much into myself and I've built so much wisdom from the experience of everything that I went through.
Yeah.
It
makes sense as to why the business had to go pause while you figured some more things out, like you said, to bring it all together. So it's encompassed.
Yeah, we need you to deepen here so that you can really, really support these people, so that you can really just, make the biggest impact that you're here to make and support people. So
good work. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast and being here. It was such an honor. So happy to have you. And, thank you everyone for joining us today with Avery. And until next time, thank you everybody.
Thank you, Errin.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, that was so good, girl. Yeah.